Hello, hello, hello. What's up, guys? I'm your host with the most, Chinmay Sharma, aka Scubachino, and welcome to Vokish, a podcast where you can be who you are and say what you like ish. Now, today's topic of discussion is living at home with your parents versus living independently. And we have a really fun panel here. I'm going to start off with the pretty girl to my right in front of me. Hi, Shreya, what's up?
Hi. I'm so charged up with your introduction.
Yeah?
And yeah.
It's the vodka I've been drinking since 10 in the morning.
Thank you for having me here. Absolutely looking forward to this.
Amazing. Do you want to tell the camera what you do?
I'm an actor. I'm a professional actor. I've been part of Tamil film industry as a child artist. It's been 5 years in Bombay and absolutely loving this journey.
Amazing. And she said R instead of Tamil, which means she's legit. So I guess well done. Suveer, our returning guest, buddy, welcome back. I don't need you to introduce yourself. But for the sake of just the thumbnail, bol do.
Cool. So as of last week, I'm a professional spy. I keep changing my look every now and then so people can't recognize me. So if you watch the last episode, I don't look anything like this.
That's true. And then we've got Siddhant Goswami, who's one of my oldest friends and recently is living alone. Mints, you can tell your camera what you do.
I'm a writer, director, and now producer also. And apart from that, full-time fool.
Full-time fool is.
Yeah, enjoying that job more than anything.
Writer, director, actor, there's this sort of nexus.
Just make a film right here.
You just need a financer somewhere, that's it. And then we can hook it up.
Dude, you
Spy.
Spy.
Yeah.
spy.
Yeah.
Spy.
I don't know.
And last
I can be the plot of the film.
around him. Palak, welcome to the show. Please tell us what you do.
Not much of a creative industry right now. I am a full-time employee. I work into digital marketing.
So guys, just show fans. I think today is girls versus boys. Who here likes living independently? Prefers living independently? I'm guessing it's the two.
Yeah, I am doing that right now. And you as well, so yeah.
So by independent, you mean
Independent from the parents.
independent from the parents?
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Yeah, purely. So that's the topic. Is living with your parents versus living independently from them. And I'm guessing you girls prefer.
Yeah, I
living-
lived independently for a couple of years and then I shifted my folks here in Mumbai.
Okay.
So I have had the privilege to taste both the aspect, but then now that I'm staying with my mom and grandfather, I would definitely prefer this.
Okay, so I'll start with
Yeah.
you then. What makes you say that I would much rather live with my parents, with my mom and my grandfather, as opposed to living by myself?
The main reason is that you have a routine. So when my mom shifted here, I somewhere or the other, I ended up having a particular routine, which I eventually started loving it. I knew that if I had stayed independently, I wouldn't be having
think it's
that.
easier?
It's easier, and also after like crazy work schedule and everything, when I come back home, I have people at home, my family at home to welcome me, and they're there to take care of you. Comfortable.
Yeah, I was gonna-
Comfortable. They're there to take care of you. Yeah.
No, tell you what, yeah, see, it could be the easy way, and why not, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong in taking the easy way, but I'm sure the people you're sitting next to, the boys,
Yeah.
are also full-time hustlers, right? They're
Yeah.
none
Yeah.
of them are 9-to-5ers,
Yeah.
right? Safe to say that? Yeah. Fine, man. These guys, I'm sure will have
By these
something
guys,
to
he
say
means just him because he has different roles as a spy.
Yeah.
So these guys.
But these
These
guys,
guys.
These guys.
also come home from very hectic hours after a
Right.
day full of spying and directing, and I'm sure they'll have. I'll let you take it away, bro. Like you would rather have, because you live with your parents, but you'd rather
Yeah.
live independently,
Correct.
right?
That's right. Yeah. So in the spirit of full disclosure, the house that I call home is my parents' house
Right.
that I live with, but I'm on the road a lot. I find it really ironic though that like for example, and I'll give you a boy's point of view on this. Actually, not you, but like everybody, a boy's point of view on this. As as a guy, and there's obviously a social dynamic for gender in India because we come from a patriarchal society, and while growing up, boys are generally not expected to do ghar ka kaam, right?
Yeah.
That's the general
Yeah.
expectation.
Right.
As sad as that is, I do not endorse this point of view,
Yeah.
but as sad as that is, right? And then I find like so many of my friends who live at home, as technically on paper, so do I live at home, but who are so dependent in the context where they don't know how to wash their own dishes, they don't
Right.
know how to start a washing machine, they don't know how to cook for themselves. Not a great cook, I can do the
I can't.
basics. There you
I
go,
don't know how to
right?
cook for myself, yeah.
And the concept of independence by itself is lost in lieu of being dependent. And when I say dependent, I don't necessarily mean financially dependent, but dependent even in terms of getting through your day to day. Like a lot of the comforts and conveniences that we take for granted while living at home is that you don't need to bother about what to make in the morning, what groceries to buy, is the house clean or not, or stuff like that. Because usually in the context of India, there's a homemaker who's making the house habitable for you.
You don't even have those thoughts.
Yeah, probably because I lived alone. I know the value of these things.
And you can do all, you can cook, clean.
I lived alone for like a couple of years.
I mean, there are people who live alone and just eat out, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
eat out and then probably, just come back home after a tiring shoot or whatever work and then just not eat. You know, because there's no one to actually tell you that khana kha lo beta.
Yeah. Mindu, you've recently shifted. It's been what, about 4 months?
8 months.
8 months. You've lived alone abroad as a student, but this is now when you're paying rent and you're taking care. I remember the first day you came. Was it a big change from that student life?
So I live with my girlfriend. We moved in together. So, and because I am, and I know, I mean, picking up on what he was saying when he spoke, that whole list of things to do on your own, I can do all those things. And that's how my mother actually gave me my pocket money growing up. So you don't get that 500 a month unless you can keep your room straight, lay the table, pick up the table, go wash the car on a Sunday, do all that shit. So I can change a bulb, I can change a tire, I can do all that, which they surprisingly don't teach you in school, despite taking all that money.
How much of that did you do when you were living with your mom and dad?
So I didn't have those conversations, but that's my problem because I also didn't feel like it was my house.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying you're allowed or not allowed, and then I'll come back to answering your question, but I'm not saying you're allowed or not allowed to contribute to that. But
it's not part of your day.
After a point of time, it's like, yeah, but you're not the parent here, and I'm the only child.
Right.
So there are two 50-year-olds, and then there's me. So how much am I going to be a part of the decision on the table? You know, it's like having a kid in the boardroom. There are the serious ballers on the board of directors, and there's a child. And like, you don't have any stake in this game, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But my point is, now, even though you have to do all that, we had that, like, I remember that first 2 weeks, and I was like, everyone's like, it is going to take you 2 months. I said, bullshit. 3 weeks, I'm setting this place. I don't have time to give it 2 months. This is not Wake Up Sid where I can do a song montage and put my house together. I don't have that much time. No, so yeah, look, it's taxing, but it's a very, very small price to pay. And life is a one-player game. It's a one-player game. And yeah, you have to take the punches. And I did. And I of course, I miss living with her. Because of the same thing, you come back home and your mother's at home.
comfort,
What the fuck else would you want, man?
Yeah. Why do you stay with your parents?
Because why not? Like, I would like to ask you, you said that there are limitations, right? Aren't limitations good?
I don't think
they help
limitations
you?
are good. I think guidelines are good. I think guardrails are good. I don't think limitations are good. Your personality starts blossoming when you learn to live with the fact that there are no limitations.
No chains.
Right? Dream with your eyes open.
Bad limitations. So there are some limitations. Okay, you should.
Define a
If
bad
you're drinking, you should drink in a limit.
If my capacity is that I'm going to drink 4 drinks and then stop, that's my capacity. I'm old enough to know that. I don't need my parents to tell me that.
Why will they tell you that?
I think you learn quicker that way.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
if you
I
the third
completely
time you
agree.
puke after drinking, how many times have you puked after drinking? Honestly,
I'm not
Sorry,
going to
mom.
answer that.
Sorry, dad.
it's a few, right? You've learned after 2 or 3 times of drinking, so you set your own limitations. So there's no good or bad in terms of, you said bad habits, right?
But can I just say something? They were not 22 or 32 in 2022. They were 22 and 32 in 1990 something, 1980 something. Their 22 and their 32 is very different from our 22 and 32.
Correct.
They didn't have internet. They didn't have fucking 6,000 TV channels. Like, I don't know which comedian said this. He said, my dad says, it takes you 1 hour to decide what to eat food. It took me 5 minutes to decide to marry your mother or not. Because we have that much choices, many choices today. They did not
And
have
choice,
the,
that's a very interesting point, right? And exactly on the subject of food, like some of my best friends today love eating meat, but they live in vegetarian houses and they don't have the choice to eat vegetarian.
Or permission.
Yeah, permission, that's what I mean. They don't have the choice to eat non-veg at home.
These becomes what was the word you used? क्या है? You said guidelines?
Bad habits.
No. He
Limitations.
said limitations. These become limitations. And you can't fly. You can't soar. You will be shackled and chained.
No, but I
It's thin
completely
and
agree.
But I completely agree.
You-
For me, when he said, right, like that, I'm living with two 50-year-old. So I'm living with a 50-year-old, I'm living with an 80-year-old, my grandfather and my ma. But the decisions I take. I take all the decisions. I'm running the house.
I was just going to
decide.
ask you.
I decide.
Are you financially?
Yes.
Yeah, then khatam.
We had a conversation yesterday, and that's what blew me away. I'm like, I'm living in a house. The house I live in, fuck knows. Everyone knows I can't afford that at this age right now. I'm getting a palace of a house and living. But I don't mind shifting, and I think for me it was during COVID. I've been that person who's always wanted to just say, dude, I need my space. Me and my
Yeah.
wife are going to bounce. And it was during COVID when I realized the importance of family, because when the whole world was going to shit, we had the best time in our house. But that's not the case everywhere. And which is why I wanted to ask the slightly independent people, is it an environment in the house, whether you said it's as simple as eating cake or just having toxicity in the house for some reason, do you think that is a reason for y'all to want to move out, or is just I need my space, I need time to?
So pros and cons, right? Two of the biggest factors that prompt people to move out, which are positive factors,
Right.
are companionship.
Right.
In both your cases, you're married and you have a partner, which means that if you live alone, you're not going to be living alone.
Alone,
You have
yeah.
someone to come home to, you have someone to make the house with.
Yeah.
And two is financial independence, right? You're able to support yourself, you're able to pay rent, you're able to pay the bills, etc. So these are two of the positive reasons as to why you would move out.
What the fuck you want to do?
Exactly. Those are the advantages of moving out.
If the same conversation was being had with a 23-year-old who at that age can't afford to leave.
Yeah,
It
fair
doesn't
enough.
have to be 23. It can be a 53-year-old who's a teacher
Oh, that, yeah.
in a
yeah.
government college and earns 63,000 rupees a month at the age of 53. I mean, like, she's chosen to be a teacher, and that's the most noble profession
Yeah.
in the world.
But you can't afford
But
to.
you can't afford to do anything in a city like Bombay on your own.
Palak, do you stay at home because I could move out if I was
No,
rich
so
enough? Or
similar to Shreya, I have also stayed alone for 3 years back when I was studying.
But your parents are paying for it.
Yeah, my parents were paying for it.
that's okay. Anyways, go on.
So
Sorry.
it was not independent, but I have the taste of staying alone in an apartment.
Fair enough. Okay.
I was not in hostel or anything. I
Who's
was in
paying for the groceries and stuff?
My parents were
For
backing me up.
everything? Okay.
Yes, I was financially
You just-
dependent on my parents,
but
but,
you're just
I
living
had
alone.
the feeling that how it feels like when you are staying in an apartment
And you
alone.
did all your work.
Partially.
I love your honesty.
No, I don't. I'm not imagining.
love the honesty.
Let's
Sweeping
understand
the floor.
what that means.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
But that's
living-
Sarvagun Sampann you were. Like,
Okay.
you know, if you had that.
Sarvana Bhavan, what?
Not Sarvana, Sarvagun
coming
Sampann.
Yeah, because you've kind of walked into my next point is when you stay alone, a lot of people tend to take it easy.
I did.
I'm
Johnny
sure all of
Walker
us have
Johnny
done
Walker
that,
and
you know,
Frank
all of
Sinatra.
us have taken our
In fact-
independence easily.
Yeah.
Like,
were
at
you
some point of
into
time.
like a lot of bad habits because there wasn't like a chabuk over your head?
No, so in Pune, I had all the liberty I could have because I did not even have to earn money. My money financially backed up.
right.
I just had that college life, and I was not in hostel, so no hostel deadlines. I had an apartment to
No
myself.
curfews.
So yes,
How
no
much did you do
curfews,
cocaine
nothing.
and shit? Were you doing drugs?
We are on camera. We don't talk all this. I
So
don't know
she
what coke
definitely did
is.
drugs.
So yes,
Yeah,
I
no
did
deadlines,
everything
no.
I could,
Okay.
and
You just
anytime I could.
Did you say I snorted everything I could?
I started that shit and that's how she passed, bro. She's like, oh!
Extra paper.
So you came, you had everything taken care of.
Yes.
You did all the shit you wanted to.
But I spoiled myself a lot.
But right now, do you think with the maturity and age that you've got and you having done all the shit you did back in Pune, now you can stay alone and maybe it works out better for you?
When you are alone, right? So as Shreya said, in life gives you lemons many times. You have bad days and a lot of possible failures in life.
Right.
And I am a person who cannot stay alone most of my time. Okay, you need your space, your mind is fucked up, you move out. Okay, fine, ठीक है. 2-3 घंटे बाद मन करता है that we should, be with someone or there should be someone by
And by
our side.
companionship, you mean like it could be like just.
It
your
could be a
sign-
boyfriend, it could be a
Right,
friend,
okay,
it
okay.
could be anybody, but
Right.
who is true?
You have lived alone. Did you ever feel guilty? कि यार मेरी माँ को मैंने अकेला छोड़ दिया.
No, my agenda was to get her here along with me. Maybe yes, now that we are discussing, there would be like a little...
Mintu with you?
Yeah.
Because again, I'm going to come back to mom. You love her more than anyone or
Yeah.
anything on this planet, right? Did you ever feel
Maybe second to David Beckham.
that David Beckham and Manchester United?
Yeah,
Correct.
probably. Sir Alex.
Anu auntie, if you're watching, you made...
I'm joking.
But was there, at least initially, you said you felt like going back and when you were in game time mode, do you ever feel that guilt ki, I left her or I abandoned her or...
No, because I use emotions that are like a jetpack to propel me forward.
You're more anger driven, aren't you?
Yeah,
right?
not
anger. Maybe
I think it's hunger. Or I'm hungry. Okay. Hungry is not an emotion, but it's a feeling. It's a sentiment.
But yours is slightly aggressive hunger, right? You're like,
if you know the only way you're going to go get something is by grabbing it, and you don't get any handouts, then you have to have some kind of aggression. Even though Dhoni has aggression, but he'll mask it.
Right.
So my point is that guilt will not be my jetpack. Guilt will probably make me sit and be like, shit, yaar, maine kya kar diya and all that. And then next thing you know, you're not doing the work for the day.
The guilt fuels you to, just go there and do.
But in my case, it doesn't fuel me.
Okay.
It won't. I'll sit and then start pondering and then be like, and you don't have time because life is moving. Your mom's getting older.
Mintu, to take your point forward, you were talking about motivation, right? What drives you, what jetpacks you. Yeah. And Chino, the point that you were making earlier, which was about, I live in this palatial house. Obviously, at this stage of my life, I can't afford to pay for this house, right? There's a colleague of mine who says his formula in life is ready, fire, aim. He first fires the gun, then worries about aiming, which basically means that you set your goals so high that you don't have an option, you have to go and chase them.
Absolutely, on point.
I won't agree with that because I would set a ridiculous goal which would push me out of my comfort zone but not out of my universe where I know, like it's like me saying, dude, by next year I'm going to have a fleet of 3 aircraft.
But why are you limiting? Then you're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
You're your biggest enemy.
But I'm
being realistic.
No, it's not. I don't think so.
I think that's my mantra. But again,
I mean.
So we're also digressing from the parents versus not. We've kind of bounced.
No, I don't think we've digressed because parents help us set realistic goals.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or crush all your goals.
Or which is something. Because their definition of realistic is not the same as ours, right?
Because they don't have the imagination.
They have different imaginations.
I mean, I would want to add on to this that my father abandoned my mother and me when I was 3 years old.
There you go. Right
so
there.
I totally disagree with the point that parents always want to see you grow. So, I totally don't agree with the point that every time parents are
I don't
the
think
one.
any sentence can start with every or all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's most.
There will always be.
Yeah. But you're very blessed if parents are thinking that way. That's a blessing.
Which is why the generation below us now are so easily moving out and the parents aren't like, nahin, you're mine. Because now the parents have their own lives. That time our mothers, most of our mothers, their life were their children.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Especially moms.
Yeah.
Right? Because the dads it was just social norm that the dads go out, work their ass off, the mothers stay at home and their entire life is, mere bacha ye, mere bacha wo.
I don't know about asses off, but they worked.
Work. Work. Yeah, just out of the house trying to make a living.
Yeah.
Right? Now you see working mothers, so that's why the generation just after us, where the kids at 17, 18 are doing that. And I guess you're probably the youngest on the... And luckily I think you come from that background of you've got everything taken care of and your parents really love you.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Did you develop any bad habits when you were staying alone that you think you might not have?
Yes. And I continued it, until very recent times, But it's about your own realization. Until and unless you realize that, dude, this is wrong. You are your own, master. You got to be... unless and until you realize, you wouldn't really think this is wrong.
My mother's always told me one thing. She said, no prostitution, no drugs, no gambling. Baki jo karna hai karo. Limit mein.
And you've crossed
and don't
all
be
of
scared
those.
of it. No.
Tell me, Suveer, would you right now, because you mentioned something right at the start of the conversation, is companionship also very, very evidently makes a big part to everyone's life. If you had a stable partner right now, you think it would have speeded up the process of you bouncing?
Definitely.
Right? So it's because, look, I think post-COVID, I think mental health came even more it's always been a prevalent issue, but we started discussing a lot more because a lot of people lived in solitude, right? People who were living without their parents in cities all over the country, all over the world for that matter. Dude, I kind of changed my perspective on living alone because I've been that guy, like I said. What I want to say is mental health also, like, you lived alone when you said you lived alone. Did you live like completely by yourself or you had a roommate or you had...
I lived completely by myself.
Right. Did it ever play a part on your head? You were like, dude, I need to get out of here. Like I can't home
During
after
lockdown?
Yeah.
During lockdown, I was with parents.
And before that, when you were working and living in Chennai, right?
No, here only. Like it's been 5 years
Chennai,
in
did you
Bombay.
live with your?
Chennai, when I was in Bangalore pursuing my postgrad, that time I was all by myself.
Okay, anyways, so whenever you
But at that age, I was all focusing on having fun. Like it never really affected my mind. I knew that मुझे college जाना है, मुझे पढ़ाई करना है, dissertation complete करना है. I got to have fun. So that was the mindset. It never really hit me. Adulting happened, and then you get your responsibilities and everything, and then the mind. But I was very fortunate to have my parents and everyone around me during the lockdown.
Okay.
Adulting in a sense that you just, everybody's a plant. Some of them are like, boss, I'm okay being a shrub. Some are like, no, dude, I want to become a towering tree. And you need the right nourishment to become that towering tree. And I did it mid-pandemic when it was harder. And
you can tell, I mean, having known you for so long, there's just a level about you since you moved out.
Yeah, man. Johnny Walker and Agarbattis, bro.
And Frank Sinatra.
Your mom is happy about you moving on?
Obviously not. But she's happy that I'm at peace.
Yeah, but just to sum it up, I think that's very, very nicely put, bro. Would you today then, because we don't come to a verdict here, right? We let the people watching and Drake decide what the truth is.
Yeah.
I love you, Drake. Always.
Drizzy.
Drizzy Drake.
Shout out.
Would you right now in life leave the house if say you had to leave, you get a job, say in the States?
Of course.
Happily.
Of course. Why not? I mean, as he said, like, the plant example, if I have an opportunity and if that's the
without guilt free.
Without the guilt feel. And that's why I had like come from Chennai to Bombay, leaving my mother in Chennai.
Right.
With her parents and whatever,
Right.
So there is no guilt. If I have to grow, I have to grow, and I think my mother will be really proud and happy. The parents are primarily looking for that, right? If they are in peace.
Fair enough. So if you think if tomorrow you find a lovely girl who your parents enjoy, you enjoy chilling with obviously, and they say just we would love to have you at home, is there a possibility of you just saying fine, or you would still say I need that space and
I'm not close to the idea. I mean, fortunately, I've been brought up in a house where I have a lot of space on my own. My parents actually live downstairs and I live upstairs.
Okay. So it's technically
I have a lot of space, so I'm not close to the idea. I'm always on the move anyway because of work. I spend like 1 or 2 days at home in a week. So
it's not a sort of full stop.
No.
But I mean, but you'd rather still.
Yeah.
If there's a Shah Rukh Khan, Hrithik Roshan scene with you and your mom, and say, "Ghar wapas aa jao, beta." Is there any way you would say, you know what, fuck it, dude, my mom needs me?
So the funny thing is, we also have 2 floors. Okay, we all lived on 3rd and 4th. It was like
2 floors in Mumbai. I'm just thinking.
Oh, dude, he lives in the Beverly Hills of.
Oh my God.
As
everyone might call it. But the first thing was, I said, dude, I gotta go, and I wanted to do it like for years. Obviously, we've had those scenes where you've packed and then people have cried and then you've unpacked and all of that shit has happened. And then one point of time, you're like, dude, everyone's grown up now. No one cry. And let's just be real about this shit and let's go on with it. So when it happened and she said, so why don't you just move up? Move up. I said, no. Then I'm not paying. Then I don't want to hear about you are not paying. And exactly. I said, I don't want, I want all that dark cloud to just go. I want my sunshine.
Fair enough. And Palak, to end with you, would you ever live by yourself happily right now? What is the situation that will make you just say, you know what, I can do this right now. Peace out, mom and dad.
I will never choose to stay in a different house being in Bombay. Like if I am growing, even my parents want me to grow and I grab every opportunity I get. But agar same hi shehar mein, then why a need of a different house? But if I get an opportunity to, I have a job offer which is outside Bombay, outside India. क्यों खुद पे लेना है सब? Don't give yourself so much importance.
It's a joke. I'm getting attacked here.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm almost done with my drink, which means that's the time glass, which means we're almost out of time. Oops, we're out of time.
Or just pour more.
It's a one big drink per episode kind of thing, dude. I gotta take care of my liver. No,
Limitations.
Drake, I hope you're watching.
Yeah,
and just remember while she snacks on that
Young
biscuit,
Money.
follow us, guys, on Man's Life. All other social media handles will be somewhere around here. Our producers are very good at doing that. And yeah, stick around. We'll be very soon with some even better episodes. Peace out. Bye-bye.